Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we discuss a 2012 model year limited edition of 500 pieces in rose gold, cermet, and titanium from Audemars Piguet. This is the Royal Oak Offshore Michael Schumacher. The seven-time Formula One world champion had his own Audemars Piguet special edition in not one, not two, but three different versions, 100 in platinum, 500 in rose gold, as you see here, and 1,000 in titanium. It's part of the family of 44mm Royal Oak Offshores, so it's a bit bigger. 15.7 millimeters thick if we measure just lug to lug. The case is 55.6 millimeters across the wrist if we measure the intermediate links, the plots, as they're called, the plots. The total rigid distance across the wrist is a beefy 58.8 millimeters. Now we'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and get a sense of how it fits. It's a big watch. It sits securely. If it were strapped down, it would be secure, although I feel like it's aesthetically a bit overpowering on my wrist. But I'll let you guys decide. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. Here's your down the barrel shot, over the top, and then the cuff shot. I believe you probably need a wrist of 17 centimeters circumference or larger to wear this well aesthetically, although it will stay secure on a wrist of my size. The strap's a lovely piece. You can see it actually feels more taupe than gray. And so while the titanium elements and the cermet bezel are definitely gray, this feels more like taupe. It's almost as though there's a little bit of an undertone of brown. Think Tudor Black Bay 58 AG 925, and you get the idea. Taupe like the Tudor. We've got a rose gold buckle here with a combination of polish, satin, and then media blast. And you can see that the strap is held to the case using a combination of screws and bars, which gives me much more confidence than a spring bar setup. And then you can see we have crown guard structures in titanium. We have plenty of rose gold. We have a cermet bezel, and then we have the same quality of finish you'd get on a standard Royal Oak Offshore or Royal Oak. And a lot of this work being done on the cermet as well as the gold is time-consuming. It is laborious, and it adds to the value of the watch. You can see outboard we have this vertical brushing of the crown guard shoulders, and we have a screw-down crown. It is a 100-meter water-resistant watch. The screw-down crown, reminiscent of the center lock nut on a Formula One car. So the center lock wheels that can be fitted and removed with air guns, they use a single central lock just like this. And so that's the inspiration there. You can also see more Formula One hardware inspiring the design of the steel bolts on the bezel. Now what you can see here is that we have relieved and evacuated flanks to the bezel to allow the hardware to be visible from the side. You can see the bezel gasket, always a prominent styling element on a Royal Oak Offshore. The sockets of the bolts are hexagonal, a nod to the hexagonal bolts on conventional Royal Oaks and Offshores. You can see that their recesses are media blasted and their sides and their tops are polished. The rounded octagonal bezel, coined by Royal Oak creator Gerald Genta in 1972, inspired by a vintage diving helmet, but here it is cermet. It may look similar to the titanium hardware that's used elsewhere on the watch, but this is actually a metallized lightweight metal, so cermet can be created on aluminum and titanium, and then the outer surface is as hard as ceramic, so it can't fracture or crack the way pure ceramic can, but it also has greater scratch resistance than conventional metals. You can see it's brushed, and then it's polished, and it has this vertical curtain-like brushing. There's also an inner chaptering that's polished surrounding a dramatically stepped dial that features automotive instrument style displays for our sub-registers, running seconds, chronograph minutes, and chronograph hours. You can also see we have a Ferrari red date, and then we have we sort of have three staggers per 5-minute segment. We've got this staggered racing dial checkered flag track, famous on Omegas from the late 60s through the 70s, the staggered hash design reminiscent of the checkered flag that gets waved at the end of an automotive race. Taking a quick look, we've got applique faceted, polished rose gold hour indices, and if you look at the unique handset, you can see partly brushed, partly polished for better contrast. We have polished gold chapter rings for all the sub-registers, and a tachymetric scale outboard which can be used with the chronograph seconds hand to gauge the speed of an object such as a race car over a kilometer. And note the depth of this dial and the overhang of the tachymetric scale. Also note that we have 7 stars between 12 and 1205, if you will, and that represents Michael Schumacher's 7 world titles, 2 with Benetton in blue, and then 5 with the Scuderia Ferrari. And we have a couple of subsidiary setting modes. If you are Tifosi, you'll be happy to know you can set your watch precisely to the official Formula One clock, and then there's also a quick set for the date. The watch uses a Dubois de Praz vertical clutch chronograph module. It is a modular complication. The vertical clutch with no additional wear, tear, or hazard if you choose to leave it running, and also no extraneous motion or jump to the chronograph seconds hand. That's one of the advantages of a vertical clutch. It has no inherent play. We also have the Mega Tapisserie, the large Est hobnail. There's the Petite, the Grand, and the Mega. The Mega is what you get on an Offshore, and we have that here in anthracite gray. Turn it all over, you can see a blackened 22-karat gold rotor featuring Michael Schumacher's signature. You can see 119 out of 500 individually numbered. This case back with a combination of polishing, media blast, and brushed satination. We have more automotive-style hardware on the back. The little plots even resemble the gas, clutch, and brake pedals of an automobile, and you can see how the chronograph pushers look like the exhaust stacks of a Formula One car. Now out back we got a movement, 59 joules, that's both the module and the base. It is a 3126 base and a 3840 module, so bidirectional automatic winding with ceramic bearings, or at least ceramic ball bearings. It's a hybrid ceramic bearing. We have a 50 to 55 hour power reserve, 3 hertz beat rate. We've got a full balance bridge and a free-sprung Gyromax style balance for shock resistance, and a judicious blend of hand finish and mechanical finish that is price appropriate and physically attractive. And the Cermet bezel sort of acting as your heat shield to prevent the watch from getting scratched. Beautifully made, and a tribute to one of the great drivers in history. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.